Suns have hired Mike Budenholzer as their next head coach. 5-year deal replacing Frank Vogel, who was fired after just 1 season with the team. Did you all hear my friend Michael Wilbon on the state of the Suns? Listen to this.
Fred Auerbach wouldn't solve their biggest problems. Phil Jackson wouldn't solve their biggest problems. Pat Riley wouldn't solve their biggest problems. No, their roster is flawed, fatally flawed. They have to trade one of those guys to alter what is going on with the Suns. And it's not going to be just bringing a new head coach in.
What do you think of that? There's our buddy, Mr. Wilbon, Big Perk. Is he right, or is Mike Budenholzer going to solve the problems that Big Three had in Phoenix?
Look, I got so much respect for Mike Budenholzer. I believe he's a hell of a coach. He's a championship coach. But Jesus Christ couldn't save that team right now. Okay, listen, they're top heavy, and they have to figure things out, right? And big threes are over with when it comes down to the big three era when we looking at Bradley Beal, Kevin Durant, and Devin Booker. And here's the thing, right? All season long, they've been searching for leadership, right? That's why they were one of the worst fourth-quarter teams in the NBA. That's why at times they look dysfunctional offensively. That wasn't on Frank Vogel. It's because they're missing a leader. They hadn't had one since Chris Paul. And I'm with Michael Wilbon on this. One of those guys have to go. And damn it, it's not going to be Devin Booker, and it's not going to be Kevin Durant. Because I believe the business decision was, do we keep Kevin Durant or do we fire Frank Vogel? You grow with Kevin Durant. And I know Wendy is about to say Bradley Beal has a no-trade clause, but damn it, they got to figure out a way for them to come to agreement. I think they got to get back more pieces for Bradley Beal. I think he needs to be the one to go because since he's arrived, he hasn't fit in with Devin Booker and Kevin Durant at all.
He hasn't had a chance to fit in. I agree with what you're saying, but he never plays. And so that's another part of this problem here, Wendy. You're going to have someone to trade for a player who has a huge contract and a significant availability issue. I mean, what do you think? If they want to break up that big three, how could they do it?
They're not going to break it up. And Bradley Beal right now has negative trade value because of the size of his contract and because of the injuries he's had. There isn't a trade available to them, even if he had a no-trade clause that I think would be attractive. I want to point out, obviously this season was extremely disappointing. But the Suns still won 49 games. They still have extreme talent. Mike Budenholzer is a system coach. Now, I wouldn't say that Kevin Durant is a system player by any stretch of the imagination, but he has been successful, creating something around Giannis Antetokounmpo. So they are going to have to do some work, and I agree that they have limited ability to bring in a point guard, but let them have a transaction cycle. Let them see what Budenholzer can do. I'm not as down on this. They hired probably the highest profile available coach. They paid him an extraordinary salary. I'm not in love with where the Suns are, but I'm not as down on it. I don't think you need divine intervention there, Perk.
Perk?
But Wendy, this is not about them winning 49 games or Mike Budenholzer, taking them to the next level of actually getting them to the second round. Next year, coming into the season, would you have them with Mike Budenholzer as the coach to win the championship or one of the favorites to win one?
So,
okay, my point exactly. So that's all it's about. That's all it's about at this point. When you have a big three and you have Kevin Durant, a 2-time NBA champion and a 2-time Finals MVP, Devin Booker, who's arguably one of the best shooting guards in today's game, and you got Bradley Beal as well. It's nothing else to talk about. It's either championship or bust every single time those three guys step on the floor together.
And it's worth pointing out,
but they're not going to get closer to
that
that by making a trade.
Yeah. And it seems unlikely. Look,
right,
one more thing that should be injected just quickly. 26 of the 29 teams in the NBA would trade places with them immediately, would trade their entire roster for the Suns' entire roster.
No,
I heard that somewhere.
I don't know if that's true either.
I forget who said that. Who said that?
But you need,
their owner said that.
Their owner said
Matt
that.
Ishbia said that.
Who said that?
Yeah,
their
owner said it. Their owner got up there and said the house is not on fire. Every team in the league would trade rosters with us.
I smell
what he's
smoke,
supposed
though.
to say.
It's not on fire, but I smell smoke. I mean, honestly,
like
you don't have a point guard. You need a point guard. It starts there, an organizer. They were terrible in the fourth quarter because their possessions were bad. They don't have a point guard. You know what else, sticking on the religious theme, Perk?
Oh, Lord.
Is that you could say that Jesus Christ definitely healed the sick, but he can't heal Bradley Beal enough to have him play more than half the season. That's a major problem here because these three guys only played half the season together. They got to play together for you to even know what they can be.
One thing that I would submit to this group, though, is as we talk about the changing of the guard, Greeny, Perk, Wendy, Hahn, right? Is this team entering a window where it's not championship or bust? And you could say that the Suns are not the only team, right? Of course, we think of the star power, the Suns, the Lakers, and so the thought is championship or bust. But as you look at the landscape and the big picture of the league, they're entering that category of like good teams that are competing in the postseason, but they're not built better than any of the teams that are left still playing.
Well, that's the point. I mean, we all know that. We can all see that. But when you have the names on the backs of the jerseys they have, and the owner says the things that he said, it changes the dynamic.